A lot of the complaints that we hear about our competitors are, a vendor who doesn't care, a vendor who has bad customer service, a vendor where I can't get anything done. I need I'm looking for a neck to choke because I have to arm wrestle a vendor all the time. Talk to me a little bit about the heart of your team, the team that you oversee, and tell me some of the feedback that you end up getting from folks when they get this new compliance line experience relative to what they'd sort of been used to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, the account management team. So we actually have a couple, I call it a double layer approach to client success or customer support, right? So we have the account management team, which is my team that I lead. And then we also have the client success team, which is led by Brianne McRhodes, who does really more of that training, the kind of technical, the setup. Right. We're here to understand your needs. The account management team. We're here to kind of understand what you've contracted with us, what your services are, and then we're kind of going into consultant mode a little bit too.
In translator mode, really.
Translator, absolutely. And we're here basically to be your voice.
Yeah.
In our company. So like the main kind of connection between a client, day to day is really between them and the client success team, but if for some reason they're, frustrated or they don't feel, which we hardly ever get, but, for some reason they need us to kind of step up and be a bulldog, we're that voice for them. Right. Or they feel more comfortable coming to us. We're not always going to say, oh, well, you need to, don't come to me, go to client success. Come to me, loop me in, let me be that voice for you. Let me be the bulldog, to make sure we're
getting advocate, right? To be that advocate within the organization and to really kind of push that forward for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so interesting. I mean, maybe it's not interesting. I think it's interesting how everything is so interrelated and interconnected, and how the priorities of the organization, regardless of what everyone says, of course, everybody says that they love their customers and their clients are their boss and all that other stuff, but it's proved out on the client experience. It's proved out on the type of dining experience, so to speak, that the patron ends up getting when they sit down at the table in the restaurant that is, the business that we're in. And you putting those clients first and your team taking that heart for the client and really partnering with them and really being that advocate for them to make sure that the tools that they're relying on us to provide actually work in the way that they expect them to work and that they have that training, it really makes a world of difference, not only from like a straight sort of objective risk mitigation perspective, but it makes a difference from a relational or even like an emotional perspective, because they know that they have somebody who actually cares, who actually gives a spit about them inside the organization that they're relying on.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about my job is the fact that I get to build relationships with our clients.
Right.
And I bring people on to my team that have that same heart, right?
Yeah.
That love that kind of relationship piece, because I'm, that's just me. Like that's my personality.
That's how you're wired. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I'm wired. Like, I want to know, I don't want to sit down and just say business. I want to sit down and be like, how's your garden? Like, did you grow your lilies this year? Or like, I want to know about your family. Like, I love that connectivity. And I think that gets lost today in a lot of client support with vendors.
Well, it especially does because there's such churn at most other places. Like if there's a high employee churn at your vendor, then you're always going to be dealing with a new person and getting to know somebody for the first time, and 3 times throughout the year having that introductory call with your new client manager or your new relationship manager, and there's no opportunity to build those actual relationships. There's no sort of authentic advocacy that can be had on the vendor side without that continuity.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's kind of old school. I'm old school. I roll old school. Like I love old school customer support, customer, service. That's what I grew up doing throughout my career.
Right.
And I'm always going to be that way. And I'm so happy to be with a company that the churn is so low that we have clients that have been on board for 20 plus years. Right. That I get it here and I get to learn about them. And I get that personal connection. And then also that makes me, it kind of builds that rapport, and they're comfortable with coming to me and telling me like, you did, X, Y, or Z, or I have this, I have this issue. Can you guys help me?
Well,
Like
because things are not always going to go right, to your point. Like,
no,
we definitely put our heart into our work, but it's not like everything is going to just go
we're not
perfect.
perfect.
Hey, come on over and you're never going to have a problem. We're going to mess things up. Things are going to go wrong. An implementation can go wrong or something can be missed. I think what you do a good job of doing is living out our values of that client first mentality. And, we're not always going to be right, but I think we're a company that's always going to get it right. And we're always going to stand behind our work. And your team is such a great extension of that. And, you guys really do a great job of living out those values on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.